The Thunderbolts just wrapped up their wildest mission yet, and the ending? It raised more questions than answered. Welcome to Haynes for Heroes, I'm Alex Haynes, and if you're new to superheroes, don't worry, I got your cape. And from surprising character choices to a post-credits scene that could potentially change everything in the MCU, there's a lot to unpack. So let's break down the ending for the Thunderbolts. Spoilers ahead. So let's start off when Bob, aka the Sentry, transformed into the Void. Why did that happen? The serum that was used to turn Bob into the Sentry was inspired by the Super Soldier Serum that turned Steve Rogers into Captain America. On top of making someone into a perfect human specimen, the Super Soldier Serum also takes what's inside a person and amplifies it. For example, Steve Rogers was a good man, and the Super Soldier Serum turned him into a great man. But this serum, which I like to call the Sentry Serum, is the Super Soldier Serum on steroids. So on one hand, it made Bob a Superman-like character with all these incredible powers. But unfortunately, Bob had a ton of darkness within him due to an extremely traumatic life, and the Sentry Serum created the Void, which was essentially a manifestation of Bob's trauma. Just imagine if all your issues like depression, loneliness, anxiety became its own person, and then that person got godlike powers. That's the Void. And then once Bob turns into the Void, he starts transforming people into shadows, which essentially traps them in their most traumatic memories, or their own personal void. And then this massive shadow, or the Void, starts spreading all across New York City, trapping everyone that gets caught inside of it. In an attempt to save everyone, Yelena enters the Void and tries to confront her worst memories, believing that if she's able to do so, she'll be able to find Bob and then talk him down. She manages to find Bob in one of his memories, and they come up with a plan to escape the Void, but it starts attacking them. Fortunately, the rest of the Thunderbolts arrive to help Yelena and Bob literally fight through his memories, like when they had to fight his abusive father, or a drugged out version of Bob dressed up like a chicken. Eventually, they're able to find the Void, but it traps the Thunderbolts and it starts disrespecting Bob, calling him worthless and lonely, you know, all the things that your brain tells you when you're going through depression. Bob starts attacking the Void, which is only making it stronger as it's slowly starting to consume him. But the Thunderbolts are eventually able to break free, and they run and give Bob a big group hug. And at that point, Bob realizes that everything that the Void was saying isn't true. He isn't alone. There are people that care about him, that see his worth, and that they're willing to stand by him even when he's at his lowest. This allows Bob to break free of the Void, and the giant shadow over New York City disappears, and everyone who was turned into a shadow was brought back. Unfortunately, the Void isn't gone forever. It will always be a part of Bob, much like anyone's darkness, their depression, their Void will always be a part of them. But now Bob knows that he doesn't have to face this alone. He has these new friends that he can turn to for help. Remember that if you're ever feeling that way too. People care about you. Once the day is saved, the Thunderbolts then see Valentina, and after all the awful things she did in this movie, the Thunderbolts decide that they were gonna jump her and then arrest her. But as they're chasing after Valentina, she leads them right into a surprise press conference where the entire city is hailing them as heroes. Valentina takes credit for the creation of this team, and she dubs them as the New Avengers. This is a really big deal because in the comic books, there actually was a New Avengers team that formed after the original Avengers were broken up. And the New Avengers was also one of my favorite comic book series, so I was especially happy with it. And that's the end of the Thunderbolts movie. But like any MCU movie, there's still some post-credit scenes to talk about. The first post-credit scene is just the silly scene with the Red Guardian being so proud that him and the rest of the Avengers are on a Wheaties box. It's adorable, we love Red Guardian. But that second post-credit scene, that's where things get juicy. In the second post-credit scene, we get a 14-month time jump, and in it we have the New Avengers who are having a conflict with Sam Wilson's Captain America, who's trying to form his own Avengers team. And because Sam is Captain America, he has more legitimacy, especially since the world hasn't truly gotten behind the New Avengers as being the official Avengers team. And honestly, this could be teasing a second civil war between the Avengers and the New Avengers, and I would love to see that. But that's not even the biggest part of this post-credit scene. Because while they're having this discussion, the new Avengers satellite picked up an image of a spacecraft entering Earth's orbit, and that spacecraft belongs to the Fantastic Four. So cool! So this post-credit scene is obviously leading to the Fantastic Four movie, which is coming out July 25th. And I think what we're seeing is the moment when the Fantastic Four officially enters the MCU, and their movie will serve as like a flashback of sorts as to why they're coming to the MCU in the first place. But no matter what, I'm excited for what's about to happening. I cannot wait for the Fantastic Four to come into the MCU, and the Thunderbolts set it up just so perfectly. But what did you think about the ending of the Thunderbolts movie? Did you have any other questions about it? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, go ahead and strike the like button with a Thunderbolt, and then click on the boxes right here, and I'll see you in a bit.